Okay, everybody, we're starting a new little recipe here. This is I call it a chewy chocolate peanut butter protein bar. Basically, it's made of coconut flour. The PB2 peanut butter is what I use. It's the chocolate flavored, 85% less fat, good stuff. Just some cacao, vitafiber works really good. This is the powder, the wets. They work about the same. They're just a little different to work with, but anyway, what we have here is we have 2 cups, because I like 8 times this recipe. It's pretty big just because I'm going to bake it in the oven and I want it to be done pretty quickly. So we have 2 cups of the coconut flour, 2 cups of the PB2. I've got 2 tablespoons of monk fruit blend sweetener in there. I have 2/3 of a cup of the cacao, and then I've got 1.5 cups of the vitafiber. That's the powder. And then I've got, let's see, that's it actually. So what I'm going to do is start adding water to this, mix it up. Bowl's a little full, and actually what I find is it's way better to put this into a large freezer bag and just add the moisture in, and you just start kneading it inside of that bag, and you're looking for a really stiff dough. So I just keep working it and working it and working it and until it turns into that, and then I'll spread that out. It'll almost be like a sticky, heavy, so not too sticky. I mean, it'll be sticky, but not like a sticky dough would normally be, because that vitafiber starts soaking into the coconut and everything, and it's just, you'll understand. It doesn't really look like it's all going to go in, but it works in. If it doesn't, there's no problem if you just make it a little bit looser, especially if you're going to bake it. But you're basically getting like a soft tootsie roll kind of a texture. And you can take it like that and even wrap it up like tootsie rolls in some parchment or wax paper. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and bake this off. I find when I put the coconut in there, it turns out a lot better when I bake it. So anyway, it's more of kind of a half of a, well, I don't sweeten it very much. There is some sweetness with the vitafiber, but it's kind of like a less sweet, not really a brownie. I don't know. You'll see. I'll pull them out in the end, and I'll show you what they look like. Anyway, I am going to get mixing this. I'll show you kind of the texture that it should be when we start putting it into the pan. And usually I do this low and slow. I'm going to put it into my countertop oven here. You can use any oven, I'm sure. This is just a nice little mini one, and my workspace is, as you can tell, extremely limited. I do all of this in like one little tiny office, which half of this office is my bedroom. So anyway, don't have a lot of place, and I do this stuff. I could do it out in the kitchen, but then I'd have to make sure it was all clean and, well, whatever. Anyway, now it's mostly because, like right now, it's 2:30 in the morning. I work almost all night long, and then I'm up first half of the day, and then around 3, 4 in the afternoon, take a nap, pop back up around 12 or 1, and here we go again. It's really easy here because that's kind of I sleep through the heat of the day, but now that we're coming up on fall and winter, that won't be that big a deal. But it's still, I work with so many people around the world, it's easier to be in their time zone or be available in their time zone. So anyway, I'm gonna get to this. I know I started talking way too much, but I will come back in a few minutes and show you. Well, okay, it'll be instantly for you. I'll show you what we came up with. Okay, we are all blended in. I'm going to start throwing in the water, and we'll get this put together. I just barely realized I didn't turn off my AC or my fans, so I am hoping that first part worked out pretty good, because I don't have enough ingredients to go through out of cocoa. Anyway, so can't show you that one again. Anyway, I will get back to this, and maybe we'll just have to play some really annoying music like some people tend to do. Actually, I'm too lazy to figure that out. Or, yeah, anyway. We'll get to this, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. And I've just got these sprayed with some coconut oil stuff out of a can. I think it's like cheap, $1 per cup. Anyway, do that just to make the parchment stick down. I'm just going to press this one in. That'll help it stick. I'm not worried about super pretty edges. These will mostly crease out. You just have a little bit of a fold when you're done. And then I'll go ahead and trim these in a moment. All these corners. Anyway, smooth these out, trim them up. I've got my dough here. You can see it's good, kind of heavy consistency. Split this in half, press it out into these pans, and my oven is preheating, so I'll be ready to go. I'll come back when we're done with that. If you want to see, basically I just started out with the ball and just force it into the edges here, work your way across. And that's how we end up squeezing all this air between the parchment and the pan out. So if I got a crease like this, it's not that big a deal. Push it down the edges. Like I said, this could be done so much cleaner, or even just putting it into a silicone pan. Anyway, keep cleaning these up. Here's kind of this, what I've got here. One that's more, haven't touched yet, just dumped right out of the bag. Start on one side, kind of guess our thickness, and work that across. So keeping it tight up into all these corners. And if you got these creases like this, I'd just fold them under first and then kind of work up onto it. So when you pull this out, it's not going to be anything real crazy. It'll just kind of be a little tiny creased edge when we're done. I do have other options for some of these. Probably going to show my, I've got some different keto like bun and roll things, and some of those are pretty loose and some of them are just tough to work with. So I've got these little, they're kind of like a big cupcake liner paper. You can get them kind of fancy and kind of not, but anyway, I do those, and then you can just peel it off like a cupcake, but they're pretty big. They make a decent sized bun. Well, okay, I might be exaggerating. They might only be like that. Whatever. Haven't had them out in a little while. Anyway, these are good to go. I'm going to trim up the paper around them. Make sure they're good and evening. Just give them one more good pass. Throw them in my preheated oven. Only going to be around probably 300 degrees. Just let them go and cook all the way through. So it'll probably be a little over an hour. But anyway, you saw how fast and easy that was. You sacrifice a bag. This one popped a hole somewhere. But anyway, it did its job, so we can not worry about it. So anyway, back in a second. Okay, we are pretty well done here. Let these go at 300 for about an hour, 15 minutes, and then I took them out, or I left them in the oven. Just turned the heat off and let them sit. So it's been about an hour and a half now. You can see they're pretty much firmer. I'm going to pull these out, let them cool down out of the parchment and everything, and then I'll come back and slice them up a little bit and see how they turned out. Usually, well, actually always pretty darn good. So anyway, I will be right back. Okay, these are all done. I didn't look at the clock. It's gotten a little later than I expected. So anyway, these are a little crumbly. Usually what it is, it's pretty gooey on the inside and it's crusty on the outside. Seems like I can pull that off, but here it's almost brownie like. Well, I have to leave, so I went ahead and just cut these because they get a little harder to cut later on. Anyway, so they're all set up. Cut them up and little bars. And anyway, I don't mind them being a little crumbly. If I would have added a little more water, you'd see my balls were really dense when I had the two dough balls. You can make it looser, but I don't mind them like this. They're basically just a quick snack. Like I said, these are not sweet. I mean, there's just enough sweetness to knock off the bitterness of the chocolate. But anyway, it's how I like them. It's what I do. So if you want a sweeter one or something, just add more sugar or sweetener to it, depending if you're keto or whatever. These are actually a keto or low carb recipe. If you do a sweetener, I usually do monk fruit. This one, I think I put like 2 tablespoons, not very much at all, of the monk fruit. I think it's the Lakanto from Amazon. Anyway, if I can find it all, I'll put a link to them. But anyway, good stuff. I'll probably have to do this video a little bit later on. And anyway, love y'all. Thank you for being here, checking it out. Appreciate a like, a comment, thumbs up, subscription. Go over to homemakercrusade.com. Join us in the community over there. I say us, but it's basically just a couple of us now because we're just starting. Or I'm just starting. So come over. If you start up some conversations or want to do anything over there, or in the discussions right here, the comments section, whatever works for you. I'll be here when I can and respond when I can. But anyway, this is Ruben with Homemade Crusade, and I am out for now. See ya. Okay, I am back. Got all these cut up. So if you noticed before, I had to cut them too early. These were very crispy and just crumbling apart. And now I've let them steam a little bit. They've been in the bag. They had a towel in there, but it's been long enough now and they're cool. Now they're soft, really kind of brownie-like. So, good to go. I guess I can pull one out and show it to you. Anyway, I was just editing that video, and see, they're more cakey now. Good stuff. But now I noticed when I was editing that I was showing you like something like this. Well, I guess that's kind of like that, right? Anyway, these are those cups I was talking about. These are the first ones I got, and I thought they gave me the wrong thing because there's no ring, but these are actually pretty rigid. They're just smaller, but and not nearly as big. But this will make like a perfect English muffin if you've got a batter that's kind of like a looser one. A lot of these keto and all the, gluten-free even bread things come out really weird, and just having something like a mold to hold it without having to have all the muffin pans and all that stuff. I found these worked out pretty cool. I've obviously been using the hell out of them. Not really. But anyway, I've got them, and I do plan on doing some. I want to do some breakfast sandwiches and a few things. I'm doing them keto, but I don't do just straight keto. I try to do lower carb. But man, this stuff's so freaking expensive to get all these things. I've been actually looking at, I've been doing stuff. I'll probably do some recipes here. I'm going to start doing some pastas, regular breads. Trying to polish up a few of those. I've been doing so much keto lately, it's hard to go back to doing regular wheat flour. And I do have some really good ground wheat that I do myself. It's one thing I did splurge on was a really, really good wheat grinder. And it does amazing. Anyway, since my budget's super small now, well, I'm getting by with what I can and showing you all whatever I can. But anyway, these are pretty cool. Don't let them fool you. I mean, my hands, I can't fit in extra large gloves. I mean, extra large gloves are super tight on me. I come from a family of construction workers and contractors, and I've been a contractor and project manager most of my life before I got into doing project management for software development, and that's where Homemade Crusade and all these things kind of came from. But I've always loved cooking. My jobs in high school were always food related, working in the kitchen, slinging pizzas and whatever. But anyway, I will have to find these and link to them later. I'm not going to waste my time doing that unless somebody requests it in the comments. If you do, I'll dig them up. But otherwise, here you go. If These are the Chewy Protein bars. They're a great little takeaway. These ones, like I said, are not sweet. So if you're expecting something sweet, you're going to need to add a lot more sweetener to it. And I try to stay away from the sugar, so I use, like I said, I use the Lakanto or Lakato, whatever that is, monk fruit. And otherwise I'll use Swerve sometimes. But anyway, whatever I can find that's cheap at the time. But nothing's cheap right now, so anyway, I'm going to let y'all go. I know that a lot of this will go way too long, so I will talk to y'all later. Love you. Bye. This time I meant it, I think.